FM via our free-to-air satellite channels. We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by
freekeen.com.
Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,564. Antiwar.com reports passed on Wednesday the $716 billion National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, now goes to President Trump for signature. In addition to spending an unfathomable amount of money on the military, the bill includes a flurry of amendments addressing various issues. One of the key issues is the Saudi invasion of Yemen. U.S. involvement in the war will be limited, with the NDAA insisting that the U.S. stop all operations until both the UAE and Saudi Arabia demonstrate support for UN peace efforts and cut down the huge civilian death toll. Other provisions include Representative Tulsi Gabbard's bill to prevent the U.S. from arming terrorist organizations in Syria and a prohibition on selling F-35 warplanes to Turkey. It mandates a report on U.S.-Turkey relations be presented to Congress. The NDAA declined to establish the Space Force announced by President Trump, but did include provisions that seek clarification from the Secretary of Defense on how exactly such a force would operate in the future. Similar details are sought on the future of cyber warfare. Another amendment bans the U.S. government from working with Chinese telecom company ZTE. The amendment won out over a rival version that also forbade ZTE from doing any business in the U.S. at all. The NDAA also includes language expressing support for the Kurdish Peshmerga forces in Iraq, instructing the U.S. government to support this as part of the anti-the Islamic State campaign. It forbade the U.S. from arming Shiite militias in Iraq as well, however. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday ruled that the Trump administration's threat to deny federal grants to jurisdictions with so-called sanctuary policies is unconstitutional. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the lower judge's ruling for the city of San Francisco and Santa Clara counties in California. The two jurisdictions sued President Trump in February after he signed an executive order putting the country's local governments on notice that they would lose federal funding if they refused to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Judge Sidney Thomas wrote in the ruling opinion, "We conclude that under the principle of separation of powers and in consideration of the spending clause, which vests exclusive power to Congress to impose conditions on federal grants, the executive branch may not refuse to disperse the federal grants in question without congressional authorization." San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera said San Francisco would lose $1.2 billion a year in federal funding, which is mostly used for healthcare, nutrition, and other programs for the city's poor. The city has had sanctuary policies since 1989. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Wednesday removed Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, along with the state's government, from a list of defendants in a class action lawsuit over the Flint water crisis. The lawsuit, brought by a dozen residents of Flint and 3 local businesses, involved 13 claims related to a decision in 2014 to pipe water from the Flint River instead of water provided by the Detroit Water and Sewerage. The water from the Flint River was more corrosive than Detroit's and rife with lead and bacteria. By the time Flint reverted to using the DWSD, some residents of the largely African-American city, including children, showed evidence of lead poisoning. In the 128-page opinion by U.S. District Judge Judith E. Levy, she dismissed the governor, former Flint Mayor Dane Walling, and other state and municipal officers from the suit. State Treasurer Andy Dillon, former Michigan Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon, 2 former emergency managers of the city, and others were kept as defendants. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Researchers have definitively concluded that all of it, is some kind of sick joke. The Princeton study suggests that the entirety of existence, including time, marriage, migratory patterns of birds, continental drift, life itself, photosynthesis, human society, and the changing of the seasons, are all part of a massive, twisted ruse orchestrated by a spiteful cosmos.
Look at you morons, taking stupid video for your pointless newspaper. Everything's a joke. I'm a joke, you're a joke. The whole universe is a joke.
We at the Onion Week in Review are compelled to inform viewers that while this entire segment is indeed one small part of the giant perverse joke, the upshot is that the next minute of your life will be no more or less pointless than if you were to spend it with a loved one, mentoring an at-risk youth, or simply wallowing in your own feculence. In other news, Harley Davidson and Jack Daniels collaborate on a local felony. A churchgoer blanks on why she's lighting a votive candle, and please ring the bell and the boy will come round momentarily for your bags. For more news, visit theonion.com/newsbeat.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily, where you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
Chris.
And Chris, you brought in a story, and I don't know if you have it pulled up in front of you, but I do if you don't.
Of course I do, Darryl. How could I not have a story pulled up when the show starts?
Story about the TSA, and we've covered in the past some of the tests that the TSA has run on themselves and found that they are, well, quite frankly, incompetent to where they only find, the hidden thing in 5% of the tests that they run on themselves.
Well, to be fair, I mean, we only fund them to the tune of, $5-10 billion a year?
Whatever it is, it's too much.
You think so? Yeah, I think so too. And it's tragic that the American people were sold a bill of goods. I don't know how to say that any more nicely, but I understand people felt insecure after 9/11, and what is government's answer always is, let's throw in a big government program.
Well, the funny thing that most people don't realize is right after the TSA was formed, they didn't go out and hire completely new people and send them through training. They just took the people that were airport security and made them federal employees.
Yeah, gave them more of a government job. Yeah.
Now that you work for the government,
right,
you're never going to goof up.
Yeah, and that was what was, sold to the American people. The idea that, look at all this new technology we have. Look at what we're going to do with, full body scanners, and our searches are going to be that much more invasive. And by the way, if you want to go on a flight,
scanners didn't come out for 8 or 9 years after the TSA was created.
Doesn't matter. They still talked about it early on. And more to the point, the idea that a big government program is somehow going to be successful right out of the chute. I don't know who really bought that one. By the way, show up 4 hours before your flight.
Right.
Because of all this security. And let me think. I'm trying to think of how many terrorists have been stopped by TSA. Zero terrorists have been stopped by TSA. So, either we have such an imposing threat that terrorists just are now afraid to fly,
Right.
or it wasn't that big of a threat in the first place.
Right, and we discussed, and Chris, I know that you had posted something about the Quiet Skies program. We discussed that last night.
Right.
And one thing that's interesting about that Quiet Skies program is one air marshal that was interviewed said that they were following, in one case, an airline flight attendant. In another case, they were following another law enforcement agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, well, they did something that made us think that, they needed closer scrutiny.
Might be up to some sort of hijinks, and that's not how our system was ever supposed to work. When people first conceived this grand experiment called America, you were supposed to protect people's rights, and by conjuring up boogeymen, you're not protecting people's rights, you're violating them. Right. And that could happen to anybody. Like Darryl says, it could happen to the average grandmother who gets searched and frisked because they think she's a terrorist.
I mean, I do think it's important to know that there are boogeymen out there.
Sure.
But whether or not these policies are going to actually deter them, you know what I mean? Because
is it worth giving up your rights for?
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, anytime...
Hold on.
Hold on. You agreed that it's worth giving up your rights?
Well, I think
of a
it's...
boogeyman?
No, I'm
or you
saying
were
that,
agreeing that, with his sentiment that it's not worth it?
No, I'm saying that with any law or, policy or regulation, like you weigh, like, what is the net effect of it going to be on you and your personal life?
And that goes back to the founding of the country. We realize that in some instances, we are giving up some of our rights to be part of something bigger and something that would protect us in things like foreign invasion. That was, something that was talked about because guess what? We were invaded by foreign countries. How many times right after that? I'm trying to think. War of 1812. What else do we got? Is that it? I'm just thinking about those first 20, 30 years.
Basically the War of 1812, and I don't even know if you could really call that an invasion since the U.S. kind of provoked it and the Brits were already kind of here.
Here goes Darryl splitting hairs again. How are you tonight, Heather?
Other than my car troubles, I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, great. I had one of those too. But the point being is, it's okay. If people were to voluntarily choose to give up X number of rights for X number of protections, that would be one thing. But there's nobody alive in this country that ever gave up anything voluntarily for the rights that that have been taken by government today.
But I mean,
is that fair to say?
I guess
anybody ask you?
I think it depends on a person's mindset. I mean, because believe it or not, there's actually a lot of people in this country that think, that everyone should pay taxes, including themselves. Like, they wholeheartedly agree with the idea that everyone within the community should have to pay X amount of money to contribute. So to
correct.
them, they don't, even if their money ends up going to fund programs, they don't work. They just see that as one of the, stipulations of what they're agreeing to.
It's the price we pay to live in a civilized society.
Country, society,
take your
whatever.
pick, yeah.
Exactly. So I guess it's all about someone's mentality and how they view things, you know?
Yeah, I agree. So let's hop into this story. What the heck? I took the trouble of bringing it in and had it already pulled up when, I walked in the studio. Darryl's busting on me because I may have been a little bit late today. Surprise, Heather.
I thought I was actually on time because I saw you out in the driveway.
Well, this comes to us from Time Magazine. The title is, The TSA has found 3D printed guns at airport checkpoints 4 times since 2016. Dear God in heaven.
Here's my question.
Hold on. I'm going to just say maybe the story covers this, but I'll hear your question.
Right. I'm fairly certain the story does cover it somewhere. Knowing that the TSA randomly, has their own people do tests of their people, were these 3D printed guns part of a TSA test, or were these things found in people's luggage? And how many wound up getting through security? Because again, we know that they failed 95% of their own test.
Right. We're going to cover this stuff.
Was it a super soaker?
It was. It was a super soaker. The transportation.
Before you get into it, this is actually fairly relevant on a number of fronts because the whole 3D printed gun thing has been in the news all week, to where originally, earlier this week, the Trump administration and some agencies said that Cody Wilson and Defense Distributed would be allowed to wind up putting the blueprints online.
Yep.
And then 20 or 21 state attorneys general wound up filing suit against Cody Wilson and Defense Distributed, saying that it's national security, can't do it.
National security.
And a judge put forth some kind of injunction saying that Defense Distributed cannot publish these things on its website.
Yes.
But apparently another website said, it says that website can't publish it. We're not them. So here you go.
And for all you gun control advocates out there, here's a fun fact. Those plans have been available online in some form for, the last 5-10 years? It's been an
I'd say at least 5.
Yeah, it's been an awfully long time that those have been widely available on torrents and things like that.
What do you think the motivation is for all of a sudden, since this has been, obviously they've been online for a while now, what is the motivation for all of a sudden it to spark the news?
Fear and votes.
Fear and votes. And who initiated that?
Fear, budgets, and votes. The usual suspects, the people that are very much opposed to the idea of people having the right to defend themselves. They feel that we should just call the police and wait the
And one thing that's interesting on that is from, a lot of gun enthusiasts, they say that these things, it takes a lot of time to make, it's difficult to assemble, and they don't even work half the time. Your calls and thoughts
prone to failure.
855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will advance the decentralization of the Zencash network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. Learn more at zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome about whatever is on your mind. We're talking about the TSA and, well, their incompetence. But apparently they were able to find some pieces of plastic that were connected to other pieces of plastic that maybe, if you're lucky, might actually fire a bullet. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we'll get back into this story in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about Zencash. It's an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, was approaching 14,000 earlier this week. Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency out there, and they now have supernodes. The supernodes will advance the decentralization of the network and ensure the utility not only of Zencash as a currency, but also the future services that will be layered in the infrastructure. These supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network, and the official Zencash wallet is available for multiple platforms. We're talking Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. And Chris, it appears that you're having some technical difficulties over there.
Yes, I was going through all my troubleshooting steps, which start off with flipping off my computer repeatedly and then banging on it.
Yeah, I tried helping him.
I appreciate that, Heather.
And then I saw you like shaking a mouse or something.
It's a ritual. It's a little juju. I'm trying to get the computer to respond. So
all right.
But
I wonder if the TSA has to do that as well, which is why they aren't able to find 95% of the things that they test themselves on finding.
That's a good question. We're going to get into this story right now. The Transportation Security Administration said workers have found 3D printed guns and accessories, dun dun dun, at airport security checkpoints at least 4 times in the last 2 years. Now, I happen to have...
4 whole times.
4 times. I happen to research how many people flow through America's airports.
It's in the millions.
How did they know it was a 3D printed gun?
Well, we'll get to that part because they claim to have a way to know. But so for Atlanta, for example, about 46 million visitors pass through Atlanta every year. 46
that's a lot.
million. So if you found 4, that's not really saying that we found a lot. So
correct.
I'm going to be picking apart this story as we go through it too. The 3D printed firearms, which are made mostly of plastic and can be constructed using blueprints available online, have sparked concern amongst gun control advocates that they could be undetectable by traditional means like metal detectors.
You know what else can be undetectable by metal detectors? A toothbrush that has been shaved down into...
a prison shiv?
Yeah.
That's where you were going, wasn't it?
Prison shank.
Yep. Shank, Shiv?
Shiv? I don't
You're the
know.
one who's been in jail most recently.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
What are you talking about?
I think
I'm
they're
kidding.
synonyms.
I think you're right. TSA has determined that these items can and have been detected at the security checkpoint. Spokesperson Michelle Negron said in a statement to Time, quote, "Our officers are trained to look for and detect threats, including artfully concealed weapons." And see, there's your prison shank, artfully concealed weapon. And through use
that
of...
just means that it has paintings on it.
It could be. You put a bird
Art.
on it. Put a bird on it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, Darryl, for making me lose my spot. And through use of sophisticated technology, included advanced image technology, can detect non-metallic items concealed on a passenger, unquote. Travelers carrying 3D printed firearms at security checkpoints will be referred to local law enforcement and face civil penalties
Wait a minute.
by the administration, the agency said.
Pause that for a minute. So you're saying that they're admitting to having some type of technology that can detect non-metal guns?
Yeah, and you can see it when you go through a airport checkpoint. You know, you'll see the outline of all sorts of different things.
So this kind of debunks the claim I read in an article about this earlier today, which said basically all these 3D printed guns are untraceable and the TSA can't find them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're admitting here in this article that they can.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They absolutely are. That's a good point. Concern over 3D printed guns comes amid a legal battle over online access to plans to build the firearms. On Tuesday, a federal judge in Seattle granted a temporary restraining order to stop the posting of blueprints that would have legally allowed Americans, quote, legally allowed Americans to make 3D printed guns in their own homes starting Wednesday.
And one thing that's interesting here, and Chris, I'm fairly certain you've seen the meme floating around where somebody is claiming that you can 3D print an AR-15 lower receiver, and then you attach all of the metal things, and then the entire thing somehow becomes not noticeable by
undetectable
an X-ray machine.
Yeah.
I just don't understand
all metal parts connected to this one piece of plastic, and then all of the metal somehow can no longer be detected by a metal detector.
It's magic. That's why they call them ghost guns.
How would these even work, though? Because, within a gun, it would get really, really hot because of the pressure. So then, therefore, the metal would get hot, which would melt the plastic.
Right. That's why gun enthusiasts say that these things are not reliable.
Yep.
There's one or two tiny pieces of metal that have to be put in to where it can actually fire the bullet.
You have to coat it in some type of heat resistant.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I'm going to talk about a 3D printed AR-15. So what you can do with a 3D printed AR-15, the easiest way to do it is to construct the lower. And if you are looking at an AR-15, AR-15s fold in two. Most people don't know that, but you can fold them in two, and you can pop out a couple pins, and you get two halves. The upper receiver group, which has your barrel and, and everything like that, and the lower group, which has your stock and it has your trigger. The federal government only requires that a serial number be stamped on the lower receiver group.
Okay.
So what that means is the parts that get really hot aren't the parts that are being 3D printed in, if you were doing an AR-15 the way most people would.
Mm-hmm.
What you're never going to see with today's technology, I'll put a caveat on that, is a 3D printed barrel. Because you're right, it would get so hot.
The friction.
Yeah, and it would fire maybe once or twice, and then it's done. Now,
which is what the Liberator generally does, from what I've heard.
Right. Now, the Liberator was a 3D printed pistol, and that was designed to be mostly printed. But
it has a metal piece.
It has a metal piece that if that metal piece is absent, then the gun doesn't fire. That was part of the design.
So basically, from what I've heard, people will generally take a 10 penny nail and put it through some kind of hole to act as the firing pin.
Possibly.
Yeah, I literally read an article about the Liberator earlier. And I was reading the comments section, which I should never do. I know better.
Yeah, you never read the comments on the internet.
But there was all these people that were responding to the article about how it'll be untraceable because the metal part can be removed. So when it goes through metal detectors, it won't be able to be caught. And I'm like, but that would make it so it wouldn't be able to be used either if it didn't have the metal.
If I were going to do something as ridiculously stupid as hijack an airplane, I think I would want to have a highly reliable weapon. I don't want to be the shoe bomber whose shoes catch on fire and then he gets taken.
Did the 9/11 guys allegedly do it with box cutters?
They did.
Have a gun.
Yeah.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
Angie's List has collected millions of verified reviews of local home service providers, and now they're free for everyone to read. Angie's List makes it easy for you to find top-quality service providers in your area for any type of home project. Search for a great pro in your area, or let Angie's List instantly match you to a few who can do the job. To get the most reviews from real customers, all for free, go to angieslist.com today.
People love photography. But when we thought about photography, we realized one thing. Humans are limited to looking at photos with our eyes. That's a problem, right? So we made an app, PicSong, the first program that turns your photos into music if you want to do that for some reason. It puts the power in your hands. You get to decide why you need this. I can't tell you why you need this. It's not my job. Who is this app for? Maybe it's for students, or artists, or blind people. But can it turn your music into photos? No, it can't. Do you get to keep the original photo? No, it gets deleted. Always back up your photos before using PicSong.
This is the Onion News Network.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is how you can call in and talk to us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And if you don't want to call in, but you still want to interact, then, well, you can join the Discord. And sometimes some hosts are in there, other times not. Sometimes there are trolls. Well, that's basically all the time because I don't think trolls ever sleep.
Come on, man.
Discord.lrn.fm. But there's also an on-air call-in line for the Discord. And if you've got a decent headset, decent microphone, you'll sound pretty good. Generally better than if you're on a cell phone with a bad signal. Discord.lrn.fm. So we're talking about the TSA. And, well, over the last 2 years, they have found exactly 4 3D printed firearms at security checkpoints.
Without having a number in front of me to pull up, I'm going to say that's somewhere out of 200 million flights, ballpark.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, not a lot of things being found. And again, we know from their own test, they generally wind up only catching 5% of the things that they are tested on finding, again, of their own test. Chris, you've got the story here from time.com. Let's jump back into it.
Concern over 3D printed guns comes amidst a legal battle over online access to plans to build the firearms. Now I'm going to stop and I'm going to say there's 2 separate issues here. First of all, there is the question of guns, and then we look at that first sentence, which says legal battle over online access to plans. This is why this is not just a Second Amendment issue. This is a First Amendment issue.
Yes.
And that's how Defense Distributed has been attacking it in the courts. On Tuesday, a federal judge in Seattle granted a temporary restraining order to stop the posting of blueprints that would have legally allowed Americans to make 3D printed guns in their own homes starting Wednesday. The judge's decision stemmed from a 3-year-long legal battle between the U.S. State Department and Defense Distributed, the Texas-based company behind the plans for 3D printed guns. That's really not the only people that are behind the plans. A lot of people do this.
Right. Well, I think Cody Wilson with Defense Distributed, he was the one that really brought these out of the shadows.
Certainly.
If you will.
But what he also did, I think...
on him then.
Really?
Yeah.
What he also did was demonstrated that literally anybody with a little bit of savvy, a CAD program, and some engineering knowledge could do this all day long. And if you're not printing, if you're doing this for your own use, which the law does not prohibit. A lot of people think it's illegal to make your own guns. It's not illegal to make your own guns. It's pure and simple.
Right. It is, however, a violation of some kind of federal law to make something that doesn't have a serial number and then sell that
and
to
that's
another person.
The difference. If you're making it for your own use, like, I don't know, defending yourself or defending your home, federal law doesn't prohibit that. Now, there are some caveats. Be sure to read the relevant law and the Constitution for more information. Gun control advocates and Democrats in Congress have voiced their opposition to the idea of legal 3D printed guns.
Hold on. I think you skipped part of that last paragraph.
I did.
Okay.
And we were talking about Cody Wilson after Defense Distributed founder Cody Wilson posted the plans for his 3D printed gun in 2013, 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
The State Department ordered him to take them down. Wilson sued the government in 2015, saying his First Amendment rights were being infringed. The State Department unexpectedly settled with Wilson in June. And they actually had to, part of that settlement was to pay portions of his legal fees. Again, gun control advocates and Democrats in Congress have voiced their opposition to the idea of legal 3D printed guns, saying they could lead to the spread of untraceable firearms in the U.S. President Trump weighed in on the matter on Tuesday in a tweet, quote, "I am looking into 3D plastic guns being sold to the public. Already spoke to the NRA. doesn't seem to make much sense! Exclamation point. End quote.
Didn't the NRA come out in opposition to 3D printed guns? I think I saw that.
I believe so, but this is just another... President Trump sometimes tweets things without having a full grasp of the situation, and I think this tweet falls into that category.
Sometimes he says things at rallies in Florida that he doesn't seem to have a grasp of reality.
Now we're going to get into the meat of this. Legal or not, people have tried to get 3D printed guns through security checkpoints at airports multiple times since 2016. We know of 4. Time says that's multiple. The TSA...
That would also be a number.
It would be. The TSA found a 3D printed realistic replica revolver and 5 rounds of .22 caliber ammunition at the Reno Tahoe International Airport in August 2016. Let's break down that sentence here, folks.
Means not able to actually do anything.
Spurious. There's a great scene in the movie Snatch. While my pistol says Desert Eagle 5.0 on the side of it, yours says replica. And that's exactly what this was. It was a replica. 3D printed firearms components have twice been found at checkpoints at the McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas in January 2018 and December 2016. Oh, I'm sorry. What did I say there? 3D printed firearm components. 2 out of your 4 times. 1 of them is a replica. 2 of them are components.
Which could have just been somebody had the spring as a souvenir.
It could be a hand grip. The point being, in 2 of these... What's that?
So it could have been a toy.
It could have been.
Toy guns are made of plastic.
So 1, we actually have a real toy because it was a replica of another gun. So that's a toy. It doesn't actually work. The other 2 were just firearms components, which could be a spring, as you guys point out.
I know people that 3D print the springs and sell them as keychains.
Oh, wait. Hold on. We got 1 more left, remember?
Mm-hmm.
There were 4.
There were 4.
We've covered
a number
3.
of incidents.
A number of incidents. In May 2017, a 3D printed replica firearm was found in carry-on bag at the Manchester-Boston Regional Airport right here in New Hampshire. So again, in these 4 cases that they're using to scare us about how many people are flying through the sky with death ghost guns in their luggage, 2 of these.
This reminds me of some of the stories about the kid with the G.I. Joe that had the little handgun-looking thing, and that was confiscated because it looked like a gun.
It reminds me of the kid in Maryland who got suspended from school for biting his Pop-Tart into the shape of a pistol. That Pop-Tart was exactly as dangerous as one of these replica guns, and it was exactly as dangerous as a firearm component.
So let me recap some of the points here. Okay, first of all, these guns are prone to fail and don't really work. Second of all, criminals that would likely print guns to do harm if they did work already get guns on the black market anyway.
True.
So
they're not going to spend 25 hours printing some plastic for something that's probably not going to work.
Right.
And 3, as far as I've always been concerned, if someone does a bid in jail and gets put back on the streets, their rights are restored. And then it becomes an issue of making sure punishments fit the crimes that were committed. And so if violent people are being put back on the streets, that's a problem that doesn't involve gun laws. It involves the judicial system and keeping violent offenders in jail and not on the streets.
And its inefficiency.
Exactly.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. In a somewhat related story, apparently there are some small airports that might be getting rid of TSA. This is Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, as a member of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. So far in 2018, the Innocence Network has welcomed 32 wrongfully convicted people home from prison for crimes they did not commit and had a record-breaking 850 people unite in Memphis at their annual conference. The movement of freeing the innocent and reforming the criminal justice system is growing and would not be possible without your support. Together as 68 network organizations around the world, they've helped exonerate 513 people who spent a combined total of 7,804 years in prison. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Buying a home should be one of life's best experiences, but today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with unexpected higher payments. And that can turn a great experience into an anxious one. At Quicken Loans, we've created a new way to protect you from unpredictable interest rates. It's called the Power Buying Process. We check your income, assets, and credit to provide you with a verified approval, which can give you the strength of a cash buyer. Once verified, you qualify for our exclusive Rate Shield approval. First, we lock your interest rate for up to 90 days while you find your new home. Then, once you've found your new home, if rates have gone up, your rate stays locked. But if rates have gone down, your rate drops, and you get to keep that new lower rate. Either way, you win. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year fixed-rate loans. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply.
Hey guys, Mark Claire here, lionsofliberty.com, where we strive to advance the ideas of liberty daily. We bring you the Morning Roar. That's right, every Monday to Friday we'll have a brand new edition of the Morning Roar, where we provide a roundup of some news stories that you may not find in the mainstream media or even in your typical social media newsfeed. We find stories that relate to the ideas of liberty and provide you with our liberty perspective on them. Every Monday, we have our longest-running feature, Mondays with Murray, named after the great libertarian Murray Rothbard, where we'll examine an article or an excerpt from his works and help convey his view, along with our little spin as well. We wrap it all up every Friday with Felony Friday, where our own John Odermatt goes out and takes a look at some sort of felony. There's felonies committed every day, you know, whether it's a felony committed by the police, a politician, or even an average citizen. You can find all of this and so much more over at lionsofliberty.com. Advancing the ideas of liberty daily.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's 855 450 3733. We're talking about the TSA, and, well, we've actually got another article about the TSA that we'll jump into here in just a second. But first, I want to make sure that I tell you about Freedom's Phoenix. Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. They have the newest, freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty. freedomsphoenix.com. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. freedomsphoenix.com. Freedoms with an S. Phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. Story from CNN says the Transportation Security Administration is considering eliminating passenger screening at more than 150 small and medium-sized airports across the country.
Nice.
The proposal, if implemented, would mark a major change for air travel in the U.S. following nearly 2 decades of TSA presence since the terrorist attacks of September 11th, 2001, and comes as the Trump administration has stepped up screening measures for items such as laptops and tablets. Now, one thing to point out here and sort of nitpick, they say that nearly 2 decades, I guess 16 and a half years is nearly 2 decades.
Yes.
But the TSA did not come into existence on September 12th, 2001. It was several months later, and then they didn't wind up saying, we have this new fresh batch of highly trained security guards. No. They took everybody that was currently working airport security and gave them government jobs.
Yeah, and that's my question. And I don't know this, but and Darryl, you may not know either, but I know you did work for an airline at one point. Are those folks that used to check our bags and functioned as security, were they airport employees or were they airline?
Generally, they were airport employees.
Okay, so they were.
That dates back to the late 1970s when airlines had abrogated their duty to protect themselves, to where the airlines got together and said, hey, I don't want to do this.
Right.
Do you want to do this? No? All right, cool. So let's contract this out to where the airport takes care of this.
Interesting. So it used to be up to
the liability
individual.
used to be on the airport too then. And now the liability is, if something happens, taxpayers have to foot the bill because security is under government surveillance.
That's a great point. So, yeah, you did have this vested financial interest at one point with individual airlines who I suppose at some point could say, look at our record. We've never had a hijacking or anything like that.
Right.
But now they can just say, and a big deal. It's up to the government now. So interesting.
Continuing on, internal documents from a TSA working group say the proposal could cut, or rather the proposal to cut screening at small and some medium-sized airports serving aircraft with 60 seats or fewer. And again, those are what people generally refer to as the regional jets or the puddle jumpers.
Yeah.
Those things with less than 60 seats. And there are some regional jets that accommodate up to 100 people, but those are fairly rarely used. So we're talking about the very small planes here. Again, those small and medium-sized airports serving aircraft with 60 or fewer seats could bring a, quote, small undesirable increase in risk related to additional adversary opportunities. The internal documents from June to July suggest the move could save $115 million annually, money that could be used to bolster security at larger airports. According to the proposal, passengers and luggage arriving from these smaller airports would then be screened when they arrive at major airports for connecting flights instead of the current practice of joining the already screened populace at the larger airport.
Right, which is what 99% of people do anyway.
Well, what this means is they're going to wind up having to put checkpoints somewhere inside the terminal after you've already gone through, or where most people would have already gone through a certain checkpoint, which means there's going to be a lot of cost at, say, Atlanta, Chicago, Minneapolis,
right?
These hub airports,
Denver.
They're going to have to wind up rerouting stuff. All right, so all of the regional jets go to this terminal over here, and before anybody can leave this terminal, they've got to go through a security checkpoint.
It's nuts. It's the whole thing is nuts, folks, and it's not going to make you any safer.
And it's actually going to not wind up saving $115 million per year if they're then going to take that money to, quote, bolster security at larger airports and then add checkpoints inside the terminals for people that come in from these smaller airports into a hub.
Yeah, I just see a million ways that this could will likely increase costs, and that's
I see 115
million. Yeah, I'll raise that, and I'll say about 200 million. I'll bet the grand total will be double what the current cost is in the interest of saving money.
The 115 million, that's federal money that's being saved. That's not counting any of the funds that local airports are going to have to spend to build these extra security, theater areas,
right,
inside a terminal. Continuing on here, CNN says the high-volume airports have greater capacities and more advanced security measures than smaller locations, according to the documents. Sure, but those, higher capacity security areas aren't in the middle of a terminal. CNN terrorism analyst Paul Cruikshank said it was stunning that this is even seriously being considered. He adds Al-Qaeda and ISIS still regard aviation as a priority target. That includes aircraft where you have fewer than 60 people on board. They would see that as a way to hit the headlines. They would see that as a way to inflict severe economic damage on the United States. If you have an aircraft of 50 people or so being blown out of the sky, there is going to be a great amount of panic, and there will be significant economic reverberations and, of course, significant loss of life. This is dangerous.
I just don't buy it. I don't feel that. First of all, there have been all these alleged improvements since 9/11, and
correct.
The American people, you got what you asked for. You said, "Make me safe when I fly," but I've flown so much after 9/11. My first flight after 9/11 was on 9/17. I flew from a small airport in Maryland to Chicago for a conference. I was instructed to get there 4 hours early to a airport that had 3 gates. Needless to say, this airport wasn't big on amenities. There wasn't a whole lot to do there after I checked through security and waited around for 4 hours.
Right.
Most of it's theater. I hate to say that.
Plus, let's be honest. In today's day and age, you don't hijack a plane by getting on it. You can do it remotely, for crying out loud. Like the way the freaking operating systems that are in these aircrafts are no different than like the newer cars that come out, and you can hijack those too.
Could you hack it? Yeah, just
anything
hack
with
it.
a computer, run by a computer, which a lot of these newer cars are basically like computers on wheels.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's no different than a plane. And planes, everyone knows, can be manned from the ground. I mean, this is how we fight wars these days, is with unmanned aircraft. So that
fly by wire.
Exactly. So, I mean, the idea that the TSA is necessarily relevant at this point, like you get on a plane, I mean, I guess the worst you could do is drive that one into the ground. But, I mean, at the same time, you could remote fly it from elsewhere.
And the other question really is as we go back to when airports ran security or when airlines ran security, just because it's the federal government, does that make it better?
I feel like the average voter, though, doesn't realize the degree to which technology has advanced.
Probably not.
Do you know what I mean? So the fear-mongering works because they don't realize the type of military intelligence that we currently possess, where hijacking a plane is just, you're probably more likely to get struck by lightning.
Right.
Just a couple more things on this proposal. Again, they're referring to 150 small airports in addition to a couple of, quote, mid-sized ones that affect 10,000 passengers. So 0.5% of people that fly in the United States would be affected if this goes into effect, but some security analyst at CNN says the world's going to catch on fire and burn.
Oh, no.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I, Medical, MEDICAL.com, or call our order line 888-212-8871.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. Silver is trading at $15.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,564. Antiwar.com reports passed on Wednesday the $716 billion National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, now goes to President Trump for signature. In addition to spending an unfathomable amount of money on the military, the bill includes a flurry of amendments addressing various issues. One of the key issues is the Saudi invasion of Yemen. U.S. involvement in the war will be limited, with the NDAA insisting that the U.S. stop all operations until both the UAE and Saudi Arabia demonstrate support for UN peace efforts and cut down the huge civilian death toll. Other provisions include Representative Tulsi Gabbard's bill to prevent the U.S. from arming terrorist organizations in Syria and a prohibition on selling F-35 warplanes to Turkey. It mandates a report on U.S.-Turkey relations be presented to Congress. The NDAA declined to establish the Space Force announced by President Trump, but did include provisions that seek clarification from the Secretary of Defense on how exactly such a force would operate in the future. Similar details are sought on the future of cyber warfare. Another amendment bans the U.S. government from working with Chinese telecom company ZTE. The amendment won out over a rival version that also forbade ZTE from doing any business in the U.S. at all. The NDAA also includes language expressing support for the Kurdish Peshmerga forces in Iraq, instructing the U.S. government to support this as part of the anti-the Islamic State campaign. It forbade the U.S. from arming Shiite militias in Iraq as well, however. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday ruled that the Trump administration's threat to deny federal grants to jurisdictions with so-called sanctuary policies is unconstitutional. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the lower judge's ruling for the city of San Francisco and Santa Clara counties in California. The two jurisdictions sued President Trump in February after he signed an executive order putting the country's local governments on notice that they would lose federal funding if they refused to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Judge Sidney Thomas wrote in the ruling opinion, "We conclude that under the principle of separation of powers and in consideration of the spending clause, which vests exclusive power to Congress to impose conditions on federal grants, the executive branch may not refuse to disperse the federal grants in question without congressional authorization." San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera said San Francisco would lose $1.2 billion a year in federal funding, which is mostly used for healthcare, nutrition, and other programs for the city's poor. The city has had sanctuary policies since 1989. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Wednesday removed Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, along with the state's government, from a list of defendants in a class action lawsuit over the Flint water crisis. The lawsuit, brought by a dozen residents of Flint and 3 local businesses, involved 13 claims related to a decision in 2014 to pipe water from the Flint River instead of water provided by the Detroit Water and Sewerage. The water from the Flint River was more corrosive than Detroit's and rife with lead and bacteria. By the time Flint reverted to using the DWSD, some residents of the largely African-American city, including children, showed evidence of lead poisoning. In the 128-page opinion by U.S. District Judge Judith E. Levy, she dismissed the governor, former Flint Mayor Dane Walling, and other state and municipal officers from the suit. State Treasurer Andy Dillon, former Michigan Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon, 2 former emergency managers of the city, and others were kept as defendants. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following this afternoon's arrest of Congress on the charge of over 23 million counts of manslaughter, our reporter spoke to Mark Westnick from Savannah, Georgia, just one of the many Americans that has lost a loved one due to the legislative branch's criminal negligence.
Because of Congress, my 23-year-old son died 2 years ago in Afghanistan. My nephew, he lost his leg in Iraq in 2006, and my brother died in Vietnam in 1969. Congress killed my family.
Defense attorneys for the now incarcerated 538-member group have dismissed the claims made by Westnick and other victims and released a statement saying their client has been, quote, a pillar of the national community for over 200 years and completely innocent of any and all wrongdoing. Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 2. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And you are free to call in and talk live to us and bring up whatever is on your mind. 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Coming up, Chris, you've got a story about Donald Trump apparently rolling back some kind of fuel economy standards. Does this mean that the Geo Metro might be making a comeback?
That's a good one, Darryl. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah,
we'll find out.
That was, and I'll get to the phones here in just a second, but that was one of those really amazing vehicles that I really don't know why it wound up going away. I've heard numerous theories about why the Geo Metro isn't made anymore. I've heard, there's some kind of thing where the car companies made sure that it failed, something. For people that don't remember, the Geo Metro was a little 3-cylinder car that got like 50 miles to the gallon, which is what all of these hybrids are touting. We get 40 to 45 miles per gallon.
Right.
The Metro got better than that and had, none of this, hybrid motors sort of, it was not an electric car.
Did it come with $7,500 in rebates that the taxpayers paid for?
No. But
Okay.
one of the things that I heard that is what really killed the Metro is because it was so light, it did not pass some of the new safety standards, but other people blame some kind of fuel efficiency. Maybe we can figure it out, maybe not, but let's first go to the phones. We've got Chris calling in from Connecticut, listening to us on 1150 AM. Chris, you're on Free Talk Live with Darryl, Heather, and another Chris. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, good evening, guys. I'm Doug Sattel, SITTEL on Google. And my YouTube
this
upload
says
number
Chris.
8.
No, you don't get to promote your YouTube channel and call us with other names. He's been warned about this numerous times this week, where he'll call in under a completely different name and then...
So we don't get to talk to him?
Well, what's his YouTube channel?
We don't get to find out what his YouTube channel is?
You guys have heard the YouTube channel name numerous times. You can go watch those 15-hour-long videos where he rants and rambles about stupid stuff.
I got nothing to do for the next 15 hours.
Actually, yes, you do.
Well, I do got a radio show.
We're
but
doing a radio show.
Could I do both at the same time?
No. No,
Dang
you
it.
can't. But you
You're
can
a slave
tell
driver,
us,
Darryl. Come on.
You can tell us about the fuel standards that
I have
apparently...
to say, anytime Darryl drops someone instantly, it piques my curiosity. Like, who was that?
I know. What are we missing? Turns out the guy's got videos on how to get higher gas mileage out of vehicles that the government continues to suppress. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Probably not. But... you know who's not really interested in some of these government regulations on fuel economy is the Trump administration. This comes to us from NBC News. Environmental groups and California officials intend to fight any plan that would eliminate the Golden State's rulemaking authority. As Trump says, we're making moves to eliminate or revoke the Obama-era fuel economy standards.
Which were what?
It basically, and this talks about it. We'll get into that part because a lot of people aren't familiar with the White House announced.
If you press the button, Chris, we can't hear you talk. It's not like your comm days in the Army.
There we go. The White House announced Thursday that it is moving ahead on its much-anticipated plan to roll back the fuel economy mandate set by the Obama administration. The move is likely to mean fewer high-efficiency, zero-pollution cars on the road.
Are there any zero-pollution cars?
Zero pollution. You know, like those electric cars and those hybrids that get their electricity from plugging into the thing at home, which gets
that means there's pollution.
That means they're probably getting it from a coal-fired plant or a nuclear power plant or...
Yeah, and the hybrids... they're still burning gas, so there's still pollution from that. So,
right.
One could argue that a fully electric car could, in theory, wind up, getting all of its energy from renewable sources. It's highly unlikely.
Right.
But in theory, we're not seeing any pollution right here, so therefore no pollution.
Right. But just because you're running electric in your electric car doesn't mean that electricity did not come from one of those dirty, nasty coal-fired power plants.
Doesn't mean that it's clean.
Correct. The previous guidelines, which were reached during Obama's first term, call for automakers to steadily reach a fleet average, and that means all cars that they sell reach a fleet average of 54.5 miles per gallon by 2025. Though with credits and other modifications, the actual figure is expected to wind up in the low to mid 40 mile per gallon range.
So what are these credits and, quote, other modifications?
That is taxpayer money that flows to...
Are these like those energy credit things that Al Gore was talking about, to where, well, I'm not, making this much pollution, but I have all these pollution credits, so I'm just going to sell them to GE, and then GE can wind up polluting more, and then there's not actually any less pollution, but I sold my carbon credit, so therefore it evens out.
We're probably not talking about carbon credits at this level, though when the government says it will likely have credits and other modifications, what this simply means is crony capitalism. When Ford Motor Company goes to Congress and sends their whole team of highly paid lobbyists and says, you know, if you guys go ahead and if we over here at Ford don't get a break on these mile per gallon goals that Obama says, you know, we're going to lose tens of thousands of jobs. You're going to have people out of work. And I know some of you, Congressman Smith, a lot of those jobs are in your district. So I'd really like you to vote for this $1 billion energy credit to help us manage this as we go through it. Or maybe we just lower the standards for Ford. That's when all this stuff comes into play. And it's the perversion of the market, which is what happens when you introduce elements of socialism into capitalism.
Right. And, you know, this also reminds me, there was the Volkswagen diesel thing a couple of years ago where they had a diesel that, I forget, it was like 60 miles to the gallon that it got, but because there was some kind of something to where when you shoved the I forget what that testing device is that gets shoved in the muffler to test for some pollutant.
A muffler tester device thingy.
Yeah. It wound up doing something to where it didn't wind up sending all of the exhaust through the muffler so that it looked like it passed, but it wouldn't actually have otherwise passed. But it got really great fuel mileage.
Yeah.
But because reasons, we can't allow it on the road.
Yeah, Volkswagen also gamed the system a little bit, too. They were testing one version of software with their vehicles and then shipping another one and all sorts of things. But these are not necessarily saying that Volkswagen's an evil company. It's just that the amount of regulations placed on all auto manufacturers, including MPG regulations, make it onerous. Thursday's announcement meant the new standard would be frozen at 2020 levels, around 37 miles per gallon.
And do we know what the current average is? Because we're still not at 2020. So I'm guessing, you know, cars are currently not at whatever that goal is for 2 years from now.
I'm sure they're not. And we'd have to look at every manufacturer and look at their MPG across their entire line. The real question, and I really disapprove of when NBC says something like, this means that fewer cars will be on the road that get good gas mileage. Well, maybe that's the case and maybe it's not. If gas mileage is important to consumers, if they're interested in spending a little bit more to get a more efficient car, they will do so. And we saw this back in the 70s. And then once oil prices dropped, everybody was tired of driving these little tinker toy boxes.
855-450 free. That's how you can call in and join us with whatever is on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 13,000 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency, and Zencash now has supernodes. Supernodes will bring network, economic, and technical improvements across the network. And the official Zencash wallet is available on Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. Zencash.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And for years, libertarians of all stripes have been asking for a directory of liberty-minded businesses. I remember a decade ago, people saying, I wish that there was some kind of directory of all of the businesses run by liberty-friendly people or run by libertarians. Well, there's finally one that is actually, gaining some momentum. Liberty.menu. They relaunched about a year ago, and one thing that separates Liberty.menu from the other attempts is that Liberty.menu makes sure that listings are up to date. For one, Chris, you about month and a half ago wound up receiving an email asking you to verify information about your business.
You bet. Did so. We actually we're actually a paying, so we pay for our subscription there now.
You got some of the upgrade. You started as a free.
I did start as a free, and now we got a couple bennies, which is kind of cool.
Yes, so you can do that as well. Liberty.menu. At its core, it's a directory for not only businesses, but also events, digital content, and more. And those listings can be rated and reviewed. And there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. Liberty.menu. So, Chris, you've been telling us about some of these regulations that apparently are being rolled back by the Trump administration, where really all he's saying is, all right, yeah, so I know there's this regulation saying that by 2025 fuel standards need to be a certain thing. We're just going to go ahead and stop it at 2020, where they're saying that the average fleet fuel standard would be 37 miles per gallon. And I had asked the question of, well, do we know what the current numbers are and how that has changed over time? Article from Reuters from earlier this year says that as of 2017, the average fuel economy is 25.2 miles per gallon. And that's an increase from what it was back in 2005. This article doesn't mention it, but I did see another article where they had a chart showing everything going up through 2015, I believe it was, where, and I've actually got it here, in 2007, actually, so not 2005. 2007, the average fuel economy was 20.8. And now we're sitting slightly over 25, so it's improved. Right. I'm just wondering how much better it could improve if, and again, I'm going to cite the Geo Metro, that was not a heavy vehicle by any stretch of the imagination, was only 3 cylinders and wound up getting about 50 miles to the gallon. And again, from what I've heard, one of the reasons that it wound up, going out of production was it didn't meet some of the safety standards that require vehicles to, well, be heavy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's not only that, but another thing that's going on right now, Ford, I read this article not long ago, Ford is dropping virtually all of their cars. They're no longer going to produce many cars. I think they're going down to the Mustang and something else, and that's all they're going to do on the car side. Now, on the SUV side, full steam ahead, because that's what people are buying. People are buying
that's
trucks.
What I've been looking for.
People have been buying SUVs, and people just aren't interested in small vehicles. I find it interesting that now here in 2018, we're at around 20 couple miles per gallon. The goal in 2 years is supposed to be 37, which it's going to be locked in at, but nobody's going to meet that.
Well, again, earlier up in this article from NBC, they say that though with credits and other modifications, blah, da, 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 the number is actually going to drop down about 14 miles per gallon from what they wanted in 2025. Right. So all of these things, 37, drop it down. So we're about where we want to be after all of these credits.
Right, which means that, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you're in the market for a car, now's the time to buy, because a friend of mine that works at a dealership is basically saying the prices of cars, because of the tariffs and stuff like that, and the cost of steel are going to go up at like 10 to 15%.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard closer to 30.
Yeah, certainly possible.
They said as much as 18%.
Yeah.
So they haven't jumped up yet, so go get your car.
Keyword there is yet.
Yeah.
But they will.
And that's what bad economics will do for you. So I guess what I'm getting out of this whole article is Obama set some really high goals.
Yep.
And Trump doesn't think that goals should be that high, but it doesn't really matter because nobody's meeting even the goal that's due in 2 years. It's all a sham. But what companies are able to do is employ high-priced lobbyists who will go and scream that they're going to lose jobs, and we're not going to be able to meet these very important fuel economy standards without some government money, which means your money, folks. That's what this all comes down to. So here we are talking for a half hour about ridiculous mile per gallon numbers that will never be hit. And all this story means is it's going to cost you. You're right. It certainly will. When people start demanding. So let's imagine that we had this global oil crunch, and suddenly, the price of oil went up. And I'm not saying, by $20 a barrel. Let's say it triples. Say it's like $300 a barrel of oil. Mm-hmm. And guess who's going to make a lot of money? Whoever's
Nicolas Maduro.
Exactly. Whoever is going to be first to market with highly efficient vehicles, because those will come back into demand.
Right. And, touching on the regulation thing, one thing that I have heard, and I've not gone through, all of the numbers to verify this, but that vehicles were getting safer in the late 1950s, early 1960s.
Sure.
And then government said, you have to wind up putting seatbelts, and you have to do this, and you have to do that. And then the improvements from the car companies basically stopped because, why should we wind up making things better when there's a regulation and we have to comply with this? So let's just go with whatever this is. And then it's flatlined.
Yeah, that's a really interesting story. I've read a few articles about the history of safety in the car industry, because they were trending that way before government gets involved. And that's the problem. It creates either the feeling that we don't have to worry about it because it's just regulated. The government's going to tell us what we need to do to improve our vehicles, so why should we invest the R&D in it? It just makes no sense. Just tell us what you want us to do, because they'll go broke trying to fight it or figure out what the next thing the government wants to do.
Right, and I actually think a 3-point harness seatbelt would be a lot safer than the current over-the-shoulder thing, but nobody's trying to develop that because the government says you've got to have this over-the-shoulder thing. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at byln.co. That's byln.co.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line. How you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And let's go to the phones. We've got Dave calling in from Virginia, watching us on YouTube. Dave, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I got two comments I want to make. One, the standards that the government puts on, all they do is drive up cost of vehicles, and anytime the government gets involved, it's messed up anyway.
I agree.
Yep.
But the second comment I wanted to make was I really wanted to put a plug in for rewards.com. I watched your show about a month ago. Well, I watch it all the time, but I watched it about a month ago, and you had the people from rewards.com on, and
I don't know what you're talking about, but Dave, thank you for the call. It sounds like he's trying to plug some kind of website for something,
let him
and
finish.
we don't let people do plugs unless they're advertisers.
Was he plugging rewards.com?
That's what it sounded like. That sounds like some kind of thing.
I wonder where
if he wants to buy some advertising, he can contact Mark at freetalklive.com.
Huh. Well, I'm going to go to rewards.com and see how much money I can save.
And Chris, if you say that one more time, I swear I'm going to mute your microphone.
Okay.
Let's jump back into this article from NBC News, and we'll get back to the phones in just a moment. 855-450-FREE.
Yeah, so as we've been talking about, the Trump administration wants to freeze the goals for miles per gallon at 2020 levels, which is around 37 miles per gallon. Acting Environmental Protection Agency Chief Andrew Wheeler said the agency also intends to eliminate California's authority to set its own automotive emission rules, guidelines that have traditionally been tougher than those put in place by the EPA for the rest of the country.
Now, this is something that's interesting, and you know how I learned that California had their own environmental policies?
Did you order a part and find out you got a California part? That's happened to me.
No. When I was a kid, I used to watch The Price is Right, and they would always mention whenever they would give away the car that it always had the California, whatever package.
Yeah, because they actually they filmed there, and it was important for them to have that. California does that with a lot of different things, and I find this an interesting argument just because there's a 10th Amendment issue here. 10th Amendment basically says if it's not in the Constitution that grants the federal government a particular power, then those powers are reserved for the people and the states respectively.
Right. And I'm wondering, without having read, whatever his agency memo is, I'm wondering if he's trying to make some kind of interstate commerce argument, because that seems to be the argument for damn near everything. But one thing that I'm curious out there in California, has the California authorities ruled that acting EPA Chief Andrew Wheeler is a known carcinogen to the state of California? Because everything else is a known carcinogen in the state of California.
Walk anywhere in California and you will see a sign identifying some product in a elevator, for example, that is a known carcinogen to the state of California.
That means it causes cancer.
Yeah, and basically California does that all over the place.
Yes,
and
California does cause cancer.
To me, there's two different arguments here. The constitutional argument is a 10th Amendment argument to me, which says that if a state wishes to regulate something and there's nothing that says only the federal government can do it, like declare war, then a state should be free to do that.
But what about the 9th Amendment argument that says that rights not enumerated in the Constitution are retained by the people?
Correct. And that's the 9th and the 10th. You can't have the 10th and ignore the 9th.
Right. But a lot of people want to do that.
Yes, they do.
They're like, the 10th Amendment says that we can infringe on this group and that group. Well, no, actually it doesn't.
And here's where constitutionalists collide with traditional, or I would say modern day conservatives, in saying, well, if we eliminate California's ability to do this, then that means that gasoline manufacturers will no longer have to produce California compliant gasoline, which they do. They have to do that. There's a specific blend that
wind up saving money.
It would save money. If car manufacturers didn't have to manufacture all these specific cars just to be sold in the state of California, that would make more sense. It would save money. The question I have to those groups is, which is more important to you, the Constitution or making good economic sense? And things, they aren't always exclusive. Sometimes you have to kind of pick and choose. And if you're picking and choosing against the Constitution, then are you really a constitutionalist?
Let's go to the phones, and then we'll continue with this discussion. We've got Jeremiah calling in from Louisiana. Jeremiah, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi. I'd like to talk about what your guys' feelings on the California wildfires.
Well, wildfires are bad. I'm not in favor of wildfires, and hopefully they wind up getting put out. And it sounds like he just dropped off the line there. Hope they wind up getting put out sooner rather than later.
I think it's incredibly sad what's going on over there. I heard that one of them was started intentionally, which is,
that's always sad. I hear that environmental policies frequently are the cause of these fires.
I don't know.
Anybody want to go there? No, I'll explain exactly how it is.
Right, and some of the fires are started by lightning.
Arson.
Arson, right. But what Chris is talking about are the fires that are started by lightning that they would not have been started if people were allowed to clear out underbrush.
Correct. So oftentimes, and this happens all over the West, states and the federal government will come in and say, nope, I know you have this huge stand of dry, grassy brush here, but we have found that the three-legged, blind rat mouse lives here, and it's an endangered species. Therefore, you cannot burn this grass. It has to stay standing. Or there is the yellow-bellied spotted owl living in these trees. Therefore, you cannot cut. You have to allow it to grow in its natural wild state. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you build up a huge supply of fuel, then any kind of a spark can set it off. And sometimes that is arson. And sometimes it is lightning. And sometimes it's just a campfire that got out of control.
Right.
The issue is would these have been nearly as severe if people were actually allowed to manage these wild areas?
Right. And especially in a state that every year has drought-like conditions, which means that you're going to have a lot of wood that winds up drying out really fast, and nothing burns better than dry wood.
Yeah, and we have a long history of trying to improve upon Mother Nature. And what Mother Nature does is it lets things grow for a while, and then along comes a lightning strike, and it wipes it all out, goes back down, and it grows back very slowly. And we just didn't have the kinds of fires that we do now that, quote, man is managing his environment. We're not following the best practices that Mother Nature tells us we should be following, and that's what causes and contributes to these wildfires. Of course, it's sad. It's horrible. I hate the thought of anybody being displaced or animals being killed in wildfires. It's all horrible.
Yeah. So let's jump back into this
Wait,
article.
I just want to say, did that caller sounded like a little kid?
He did.
He did sound like a little kid.
Yeah.
That's fine. Little kids can call in. 855-453.
Well, if you're a kid and you're listening to Free Talk Live.
Oh, he's probably not actually listening to Free Talk Live. He probably just found the telephone number somewhere.
I don't know how I feel about kids listening to Free Talk Live. Only because of some of the stuff some other co-hosts talk about.
Our shows are pretty G-rated, aren't they?
855-453.
Maybe uncomfortable.
855-450-3733.
I wouldn't let my daughter listen to the show.
3733. That is the toll-free call-in line.
This show, maybe.
You can call in, bring up whatever is on your mind. We've also got the Skype username LRN.FM, and we're on the Discord, discord.lrn.fm. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
This is Jessica Armand, creator of the fluoride-free oral care brand, My Magic Mud. You're going to love our new products. Our cutting-edge oral rinses deeply soothe your mouth and fight cavities naturally. Our breath spray, My Magic Mist, will invigorate your senses with essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. Our clinically proven toothpaste and tooth powders whiten your teeth and detoxify your mouth. Buy discounted bundles direct at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off with coupon code GCN10. mymagicmud.com.
Hi, I'm Patrick Colbeck, and I'm running for governor. Michigan auto insurance rates are almost twice the national average. We need to lower costs, but at the same time, we need to protect the lifetime benefits for those who are injured. Using my engineering problem-solving know-how, I have found a way to lower costs by a minimum of 40% while still retaining lifetime benefits. Do you realize that 58% of my own insurance premium is due to state mandates? If we eliminate those mandates, our insurance rates can be lowered to near the national average. Principled Solutions prioritize your best interests, not lobbyists. Paid for by Patrick Colbeck for governor.
Free Talk Live.
And I still swore to the Commander-in-Chief.
What oath is higher
I'm not going
to
to
you?
stand up and go AWOL because, I don't believe
Well,
in
wait,
what's
nobody
going
said you
on
had to
or
go
whatever.
AWOL. Did you swear 2 oaths, one to the Commander-in-Chief and then one to the Constitution?
You swear one to the Constitution as your Commander-in-Chief as your executive order.
Which part of the oath is a priority? Is it upholding the Constitution? Well, so whatever the Commander-in-Chief says is what goes. It
That
doesn't
sounds like a
matter,
cult of personality to
It
me.
doesn't matter if it's unconstitutional.
This
what the
is a nation
Commander-in-Chief
of
says.
laws, supposedly, I was told, and since the Constitution's the highest law in the land, if the Commander-in-Chief
Apparently the chief
violates
is.
that piece of paper, then you should, as a person who
arrest
swore an
him.
oath to that Constitution, go in there and arrest him.
Okay, well, you're making sense.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is the toll-free call-in line. It's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. We'll jump back into this article here from NBC News about Donald Trump wanting to roll back some Obama-era fuel economy standards. But before we do, I want to make sure that I tell you about a website that, well, I think you should go to, especially if you are a cryptocurrency advocate. Talking about CryptoTip. CryptoTip.org is it's the place to go to get the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrencies. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it brings up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allows them to claim the amount that you decide to put on the tip. That's right. You decide how much to put on the tip. I've been leaving $5 and $7 crypto tips and had a couple of them redeemed. I know other people that put $20, $25 on their crypto tips, and they also have a couple of them get redeemed, which means, well, what happened? Am I just throwing money into the ether? No. If they don't get claimed, you get the crypto back after a set amount of time that you choose. Plus, if they do claim the tip, assuming you provide an email to cryptotip.org, totally optional, you will get an email alert, again, if you provide that email. And you can create as many as you want, cryptotip.org. Again, cryptotip.org. Let's go back to the phones where we've got Jeremiah calling in. I thought he had hung up on us. He says that his phone got disconnected on him. Jeremiah, you're back on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi. I actually have a couple of questions. What about how Disney bought Fox for about $234 billion?
Did they actually buy Fox? I heard that they were in some kind of discussion about it, but I did not hear that had actually gone through.
Could I ask you what you think about that?
I actually think that Disney is a very big company because, you see, they bought, like, Marvel, and they bought the Star Wars French fry, the Star Wars
franchise. There we go. Okay.
And they bought Pixar, I think.
Do you think that's getting too big? Should companies not be allowed to grow that big?
No, I do think that they should grow that big. I'm just saying that maybe they should, like, slow down with buying.
Yeah, that's definitely a question for their stockholders. And I think anytime a company gets into just this cycle of acquisition, like you mentioned Marvel and you mentioned Pixel.
Did you confirm that they actually bought them? That Disney actually bought Fox?
Yeah, $71.3 billion.
Because Fox said it on their website.
Yep.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the content of the news shared by Fox changes, because a lot of the times the content of different media outlets is generally, put there reflects the views of senior management. So, you tend to see a lot of conservative news or a lot of liberal news where they all kind of project a certain narrative.
And then there are some companies that own both conservative and progressive outlets, and it just really confuses people to where they're like, wait a second, that doesn't fit into the narrative that I was fed to believe.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would say that it'll be interesting moving forward to see how Fox changes.
Yeah, and I will say this about it. There's a book by David Stockman, and I'm Googling it right now, but...
You've always got a book recommendation.
I know, but this one was a good one. But it was basically about crony capitalism, and one of the ways that a lot of companies can produce a lot of income without actually producing anything is to go through
Twitter and Facebook.
Well, in this case, it's through mergers and acquisitions and being able to say, okay, because we did this, it miraculously jumps the price of our stock up by this much, and we're going to combine these things. Therefore, senior management who is now vested, at X dollars per share for stock options and all these things, suddenly by doing one deal with corporate money, ended up pocketing, $100 million each.
Yeah.
And it's just...
and this is one of the reasons, and Jeremiah, thank you for the call. It's one of the reasons that I tend to, I guess, more closely align with the so-called Austrian school, or the Chicago School of Economics instead of the Austrian, because I think a lot of times,
Was his name Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Say no to drugs, Jeremiah, okay? Just going to throw that out there.
Are you alleging that I'm on drugs because I don't agree with everything that Mises ever said?
No.
I will.
I just
because
feel like
the Chicago
he
school
sounds really young. I don't
the
know
Chicago
how old
school
he
is responsible for a lot of these things. And remember what you're referring to is the era.
I'm talking only about the stock, where the Mises school, as I understand it, the Mises school says that stock is 100% indicative of the value of a company. And the Chicago school says that no, there are times when stocks and the actual value of a company don't align with one another.
Right. My issue with the Chicago school goes back to Friedman, who was recognized as the father of the Chicago school, who promoted the idea of M&A inflations all through Reagan, all the way up until he died. He was just pushing this stuff, saying this is, and seeing it as real growth. It's not real growth.
Yeah.
It's artificially inflated, and it creates
some kind
bubbles.
of quiz that the Mises Institute put out a few years ago, and it showed that I was like 1% more Chicago school than Mises school.
Yeah.
I've not read works of Mises. I've not read the works of Milton Friedman, David Friedman, any other Friedman.
David Stockman.
Any of them.
Right.
Like, I did not become a libertarian by reading philosophers.
Was that the same little kid as the first one?
It was him calling back.
It was him calling back. Right. So normally we have a one call per night rule, but if your phone is disconnected through something other than us hanging up on you or you intentionally ending the call, we will let you call back. So if you're driving down the road and then your call gets cut off in the middle of a sentence, we will let you call back.
Well, he had a pretty decent question.
Yeah, it is. And like I said, it's interesting. The book, again, I've recommended this one before, The Great Deformation, The Corruption of Capitalism in America by David A. Stockman. I just, when you play games with stocks, either through merger and acquisition, and the biggest, earliest example I can think of was Travelers Insurance and Citibank. All this stuff, because I happened to be working as a consultant for Citibank at the time, it doubled stock prices. It created this vast pool of wealth based on nothing other than we say we're going to make all these efficiencies and the whole world is going to be better for the new Citigroup. And guess what? It tanked so horribly.
Yeah, but
it tanked after everybody already made their money.
This reminds me of a lot of the .com companies back in the 90s where they didn't actually produce really anything, but it's some kind of new thing, so let's go buy stocks. And then, people are trading stocks because it's all speculation of what they think might possibly be, but there was no product, there was no service, it was all speculation.
Right.
But when I say that, stocks are speculation and gambling for rich people, then I've got people say, well, Mises said blah, blah, blah.
No, stocks absolutely are speculative. That's the idea. And I don't know many Austrians that would argue that point, whether or not the stock market is speculative. The question is when government allows things or encourages things by structuring a tax code that will benefit people if they do these things that basically deform the marketplace. That's what Reagan introduced. That's what Bush introduced. And that really set up an era of crony capitalism like we have never seen before. When you've got guys that, CEOs work hard and all that good stuff, but you can set up your boards of directors, you can set up all your C-level managers
to some degree,
just by making hundreds of millions just because you signed a couple different pieces of paper.
Right.
I mean, to some degree, I think that, capitalists should be allowed to kind of have a strategy to their, business, but...
Should they get an unfair advantage over everyone else? Because you've structured a tax code a certain way. Should they be able to do things that you and I can't do? That's the question.
Your calls and thoughts.
Hold
welcome.
that thought.
855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Get relief for your neck or back pain when you search Amazon for Sunshine Pillows, heating wraps, and pads, often listed as an Amazon choice.
Why take another pill?
Now, from Sunny Bay and by customer demand, we introduce our extra long neck heating wrap, a complete wrap, wide and hands-free, and brings fast relief to those who suffer from neck or back pain.
You can easily find Sunshine Pillows on Amazon.
Or search Amazon for our new Sunny Bay disposable heat pads. Or look for Sunny Bay heated neck wraps for relief from back pain to menstrual pain and cramps.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
See why our company, Biomed DB Design, has a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. Just go to Amazon.com and search Sunny Bay or call us 253-678-1361.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, August 2nd, 2018. Silver's trading at $15.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,215 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $26, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,564. Antiwar.com reports passed on Wednesday the $716 billion National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, now goes to President Trump for signature. In addition to spending an unfathomable amount of money on the military, the bill includes a flurry of amendments addressing various issues. One of the key issues is the Saudi invasion of Yemen. U.S. involvement in the war will be limited, with the NDAA insisting that the U.S. stop all operations until both the UAE and Saudi Arabia demonstrate support for UN peace efforts and and cut down the huge civilian death toll. Other provisions include Representative Tulsi Gabbard's bill to prevent the U.S. from arming terrorist organizations in Syria and a prohibition on selling F-35 warplanes to Turkey. It mandates a report on U.S.-Turkey relations be presented to Congress. The NDAA declined to establish the Space Force announced by President Trump, but did include provisions that seek clarification from the Secretary of Defense on how exactly such a force would operate in the future. Similar details are sought on the future of cyber warfare. Another amendment bans the U.S. government from working with Chinese telecom company ZTE. The amendment won out over a rival version that also forbade ZTE from doing any business in the U.S. at all. The NDAA also includes language expressing support for the Kurdish Peshmerga forces in Iraq, instructing the U.S. government to support this as part of the anti-Islamic State campaign. It forbade the U.S. from arming Shiite militias in Iraq as well, however. Born into a devastating world and raised among the crowd, the Cloudwalker assumes a new identity and begins the unrelenting quest for truth. In this epic journey, he discovers dark secrets about aspects of his previous life that he once trusted. Through the Journal of the Cloudwalker, he shares both the traumatic hardships and the eternal beauties of his experiences. Fueled in the beginning by his unsettling thoughts and emotions, he learns how to find peace with everything he has woken up to. Dear Society by the Cloudwalker is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. UPI reports a federal appeals court on Wednesday ruled that the Trump administration's threat to deny federal grants to jurisdictions with so-called sanctuary policies is unconstitutional. The Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the lower judge's ruling for the city of San Francisco and Santa Clara counties in California. The two jurisdictions sued President Trump in February after he signed an executive order putting the country's local governments on notice that they would lose federal funding if they refused to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Judge Sidney Thomas wrote in the ruling opinion, "We conclude that under the principle of separation of powers and in consideration of the spending clause, which vests exclusive power to Congress to impose conditions on federal grants, the executive branch may not refuse to disperse the federal grants in question without congressional authorization." San Francisco City Attorney Dennis Herrera said San Francisco would lose $1.2 billion a year in federal funding, which is mostly used for healthcare, nutrition, and other programs for the city's poor. The city has had sanctuary policies since 1989. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Wednesday removed Michigan Governor Rick Snyder, along with the state's government, from a list of defendants in a class action lawsuit over the Flint water crisis. The lawsuit, brought by a dozen residents of Flint and 3 local businesses, involved 13 claims related to a decision in 2014 to pipe water from the Flint River instead of water provided by the Detroit Water and Sewerage. The water from the Flint River was more corrosive than Detroit's and rife with lead and bacteria. By the time Flint reverted to using the DWSD, some residents of the largely African-American city, including children, showed evidence of lead poisoning. In the 128-page opinion by U.S. District Judge Judith E. Levy, she dismissed the governor, former Flint Mayor Dane Walling, and other state and municipal officers from the suit. State Treasurer Andy Dillon, former Michigan Health and Human Services Director Nick Lyon, 2 former emergency managers of the city, and others were kept as defendants. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Hailing it as the industry's most innovative product to date, global cosmetics brand Maybelline released its long-awaited Ideal Woman Rubber Mask this week, a thick latex facial covering worn over the head in lieu of makeup.
By simply yanking it over your face, you can instantly achieve a fresh look that conforms to Western ideals of beauty. Essentially, you can just roll out of bed, stretch the latex urethane rubber beauty mask over your natural face, and boom, you're ready to start your day. Forget concealer, powder, blush, or mascara. Now you can achieve a look that adheres to the conventional standard of feminine perfection in seconds.
It's incredible. You immediately see the difference. The very first time I tried it on, my pores were minimized, my skin tone was more even, and all of the idiosyncratic little wrinkles, physical imperfections, and tiny irregularities that make my face unique were were erased.
I don't spend a lot of time on makeup anyway, but now all I need to do is yank this thing over my head, and that's it. I'm conventionally attractive. I mean, this gives me so much more time to find an outfit that makes my body look thin and socially acceptable.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. Kicking off our number 3, you can call in and join us by dialing 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And let's go to the phones where we've got Sarah calling in earlier than she normally does. Normally she's calling in about 9:30 or so. Sarah, go ahead with your thoughts.
Sarah?
You know what? I call early with you on because you're a lot easier than in. You know, you'll pick me earlier. My time here is, but my time is 7 o'clock here. It's 2 hours behind.
Right. Yes, that's how time zones work. New Mexico is in the Mountain Time Zone. New Hampshire is in the Eastern Time Zone.
And thank you for correcting yourself. 2 hours behind, not 2 years behind.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, she might be 2 years and 2 hours behind.
I don't think so.
Maybe she's a time traveler. Sarah, are you a time traveler?
I do not think so. No,
okay.
That's not my thing.
That's exactly what a time traveler would say.
Exactly. Not ruling it out. Please go ahead with your question.
Well, you know, I just wanted to mention that here in New Mexico, all of the candidates who have supported speeding bans or red light cameras have all been voted out. You know? So I have been noticing this trend. I wonder if this happens in other states, but I wanted to give actual names. Ron Trujillo is a city councilor of Santa Fe, and he really wanted to bring the speeding ban in Santa Fe, and
he lost his election. All right, that's good. And, you know, Sarah, I think a lot of it has to do with just trends. So there, are often various things that happen that might not have anything to do with whoever the candidate is or one particular position of the candidate, just, like some kind of anti-incumbency sort of sentiment across the country, and then you wind up, instead of seeing 90% reelection, you get 80% reelection, but it's considered, some kind of huge overhaul of everything, but it has nothing to do with any particular candidate or a particular position.
But it could be positions too. I mean, are there that many people? I know you are very dedicated to this subject, but are red light cameras and speed vans? I mean, is that
how many single issue voters are there that they only vote based on whether someone supports red light cameras and speeding vans?
I know of one.
There's probably a lot of single issue voters.
Well, I just want to say that our Mayor Chavez, he wanted to keep those red light cameras, and he got voted out. And to me, that was his tipping point.
Was that his big issue?
That's what you're thinking, because you're a single issue voter that only cares about the red light cameras.
She's also the only voter we have on from
sugar taxes too, Darryl.
Exactly. No, I mean, was that the primary issue that he focused on? What other positions did he take on issues?
Well, you know what? I mean, the thing is that he was a Democrat, and there were 2 Democrats running and 1 Republican.
Okay.
And I think the split the vote, and that's probably how.
Okay.
The first time the Republican got elected, Mayor Barry got elected.
Well, where did he stand on immigration? What was his position on immigration?
Well, I think he was immigrant friendly. Like, this was about 10 years ago.
Okay, you think he is, or so you don't know for sure?
She doesn't know. What about sugar taxes? That's something else you care about. Was he in favor of sugar taxes or against?
Well, that was not even brought up. That was not even talked about 10 years ago.
So what about that the bus? You really like the thought of people in New Hampshire paying for your bus. What was he in favor of that bus or against that bus?
The ART was only brought up with Mayor Barry.
Okay, so the guy that wound up getting defeated as mayor a decade ago, you're still upset about that election from a decade ago?
No, Mayor Barron, he's a Republican. He took down all of the red light cameras and speeding bans. Everything came out, and he won the second term.
Hold on, I thought you were just complaining about some Democrat that lost
no.
the mayor election.
She's trying to identify why this Democrat that supported things that she liked lost. And what I'm saying, Sarah, is
I thought she was saying that he was the mayor and lost the election.
What I'm saying is Sarah, there's so many different issues that are important to so many different people. When you're fixated on just one issue. So, and at a national level, it could be immigration. That's the only thing people are concerned with.
Sarah, what is your position on immigration?
Yeah. What do you think?
Do you think?
I mean, that's kind of. I'm not very interested in the immigration. I could go either way.
Either kick them all out or bring them all in.
Well, the thing about that, you know what? I don't have any. What could I do? What could I do anything about it? You know what I mean?
Well, what can you do about red light cameras?
She can call us and talk about them.
True.
Which she does all the time. Sarah, thank you for the call. Let's go to the Discord where we've got somebody
Darryl.
calling himself the governor. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thought.
That is such an old name. I thought it was Blood Clot.
No, it says whoever you are, Governor Blood Clot Governor, whatever. Just
that
go
would
ahead
be
with your thoughts.
Governor Stephan of the Commonwealth of Skype of Ohio.
Oh, there we go. Hi,
I knew that voice
Go ahead with your
sounded
thoughts.
familiar.
Thank you. I was just going to ask you, Darryl, about the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire, because I know you were the chair for a period of time there.
I was, yes, and I did not run for re-election at the convention that we had back in April. What's the question?
I know that a few representatives had switched over to the Libertarian Party during that time, but were any actually elected?
The election has not yet happened. It's coming up in November of this year. So we've got 2 of those 3 that are running for re-election. And
Was that Brandon and Caleb?
Yeah, and we'll just have to see what happens. I think one of the 2 has a really good shot of actually getting reelected. The other one, not so much.
But explain how it works, though, because isn't like the elections in New Hampshire are a little different when it comes to running to state rep?
We have some multi-member districts. Caleb is in, that's Caleb Dyer for people that are playing at home and don't know all of the 400 state reps in New Hampshire on a first-name basis. He's in an 11-member district, which mees that
If there's only 11 people that run,
everybody goes.
Everyone
there are
wins by default.
23 candidates, because the Democrats, for the first time ever in that district, have fielded a full slate of candidates.
Wow, so there are 11 of them.
There are 11 Dems, 11 Republicans, and actually I think there might be one other Libertarian in addition to Caleb. So there might be 24 people running for 11 seats.
Interesting.
So based on math, he really only needs to get, 7-8% of the vote to wind up getting elected,
Right.
because you can vote for up to 11. I think Representative Finney is in a single-member district, and I think there's only one person running against him.
And I can't remember if there was a bill that was coming up, but wasn't there something about putting the letter on the ballot? Like, is it like the party affiliation letter on the ballot? Like, is it?
We have party column ballots. So the name of the party is above the candidate, and then they're all in a column. So the name of the party is on the ballot. I don't know what piece of legislation you're talking about.
I thought I read something a while back about it being removed from the ballot.
Wait, did you say 400?
Yes.
We have 400 state reps. We have 24 senators. We have a 5-headed.
We have.
There's like a population of like 6 million.
Right, or less, I think.
That's got to be expensive to pay all those people.
It is. That's why we pay them $100 a year.
They get $100 per year, plus they get a very small fuel stipend that depending on how often they wind up doing official business. There was one state rep that wound up filing like $25,000 worth of fuel reimbursements. Governor, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids,
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa,
the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. LRN.fm now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
Thank you for paying attention, Chris. And we will get back to the phones here in just a second. But first, I want to let you know that Bitcoin.com wants you to know that SaveItPurse.com is now accepting Bitcoin Cash BCH directly through their website. So if you've listened to the show previously, you've heard us talk about SaveItPurse.com. It's a website you can go to, save 5, 10, 15, 20% or more on things you were going to buy anyway. I actually wound up having some stuff come in earlier today that I think I saved 20 or 25% on.
It's a lot.
SaveItPurse.com. And I used regular Bitcoin, BTC. And a while back, Save It Purse had shapeshift integration, meaning that you could use cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin BTC. But they recently got rid of the shapeshift. But when they did that, they added in direct support for Bitcoin Cash BCH. SaveAtPurse.com, accepting Bitcoin Cash BCH. And that message brought to you from Bitcoin.com. Let's go to the Skype, where we've got David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Chris, pun intended, stole part of my thunder on the fire issue. And
this is in reference to somebody that called in about an hour ago, I think, asked a question about what we thought about the California wildfires.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I would go so far as to say that all wildfires of any level of notable destruction whatsoever are entirely the fault of the federal government and any other governments attached to them fighting these natural fires. They are directly causing the catastrophe, period.
How?
Because before the federal government came along, or we'll put it this way, before people started fighting these fires, people actually, instead of fighting them, set them. Primitive people set them when Mother Nature didn't do it soon enough, because if you just leave Mother Nature along, the lightning comes along, or other causes, but lightning usually. And if something can burn, then nature burns it. And then once it's burned in a small fire of 5 acres to 500 acres, it can't go any further, because a previous fire that had crossed its path 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago had burned up fuel that's available, and therefore the fire could not get any bigger than 5 acres, 500 acres, 5,000 tops.
That's a good point, and we didn't really talk about that, but the idea of natural fire breaks in the vegetation that used to put these things out, or not put them out, but keep them from spreading. It's a really good point, David.
Yeah, if you I think there are actually, well, I know there are maps. If you Google it right now, you can see fire pattern or fire scar maps, and if you look at them from decades ago as compared to the ones from current. The ones in the past, each fire made a much smaller footprint. There were more of them, and they made a smaller footprint. And if you look at the ones nowadays, there will be fewer of them, and they make a bigger footprint. And so that's evidence. Also, if you look at it's like a paintbrush painting canvas, filling it in the canvas piece by piece. If you look in decades ago, the paintbrush pattern of the fire scars eventually covered every area that could burn at all had burned in like the previous couple decades. And so it's just a continuous process of burning everything, once every 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, as opposed to what we have right now is these things don't get burned, but maybe once every 100 years.
Yep. And
then you have a catastrophic fire. And further, I would say that the government uses these fires in order to for power and for money, because they've created a money-making industry that they tax you people on and then distribute money how they want. And they also control you through law enforcement in the forest. They get you used to martial law in the forest. So not only can they control you in the urban areas, they have one more pseudo reason to control you outside of urban areas.
Yep. One other thing I'll throw into this, and this goes along with federal flood insurance and things like that, but we have a lot more people living in areas that Native Americans just knew you don't want to live there. That place catches on fire every year.
That place has bears. That place has all of these other animals, David. Thank you for the call.
But the idea that we can just choose to live anywhere we are, regardless of hazards. Now, there isn't a federal wildfire insurance program like there is for floods, but when it should be so expensive to insure these places that no one would ever want to live there. Unfortunately, you have a lot of manipulation in these things by wealthy people who say, no, I want to live there and I want my cheap rates.
I mean, so having heard his, argument that the federal government is to blame for all forest fires in California.
Not all.
He basically said all.
Oh, I believe
he said all.
Okay.
So when people call in like that, like my first response is to be like, so what is your solution? Because I feel like you lose a lot of people when you call in and you're just like, I blame the government, I blame the government, I blame the government.
Yeah.
But you don't say, hey, guess what? This is what we can do to reduce the number of wildfires in California, and here is how it's going to work.
Ready
and
for
that's
it?
What?
I'll give you one.
Let me guess. Abolish the government.
Yes, step 1, abolish the government.
Okay.
But no, not that.
But I'm saying people need to articulate their solution.
Hold on, Chris is trying to articulate a solution.
I am going to articulate a solution, but I'm not saying every caller has to. They don't have to. They can call up and just complain if they want. We appreciate it when they do bring a solution because that gives us a chance to debate it.
Well, if there's only so many minutes on the air, I mean, we only have 3 hours every night, right? Like, I'd rather give a little more time to the people that are calling and giving solutions than the critics that just call and complain week after week after week.
No, it sounds
Chris,
like you're complaining.
So articulate.
Now, the way to do it may be to allow people to own lands that the federal government owns today. So when you look at a state like the state of Oregon, so there was the whole issue in Malheur County with the Hammonds, who were recently pardoned. They were accused of setting wildfires on Bureau of Land Management land that they had a right to graze in. They called it arson. The Hammonds had been farming there for ranching for hundreds, for 50 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. And the key is you go out there and you burn that stuff. You burn it. And that's what they were doing, and that's what the federal government charged them with arson for. So the Bureau of Land Management does not do the best job in the world of managing this land because they have no vested financial interest in whether it burns or not. They just don't. They don't care. They're more concerned with what's under the ground, minerals and things like that. The idea is if you put that into private ownership and allow people to burn, they will be better stewards of the land than the federal government generally has proven themselves to be.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Jessica Armand, founder of My Magic Mud. Our team helped organize a successful effort to remove fluoride from our city's water supply. This is our passion. My Magic Mud Oral Care purifies and brightens your smile naturally. GCN listeners, please support my family business by purchasing our products from your local health food store. We're also available at CVS Pharmacy, or visit us at mymagicmud.com and take 10% off now with coupon code GCN10.
Hey, Dave, you in for golf this weekend?
I can't. I promised I'd find a plumber to fix a sink and a painter to paint the...
Just use Angie's List.
Doesn't that cost money?
Not at all. It's free to find pros in your area who can do the work. You can even read ratings and reviews from other customers.
What about roofing pros?
Angie's List has pros for everything. And to save time, they'll even match you to the best pros for the job.
Oh, that's awesome. Looks like I'll be able to play after all.
Find the best pros for your next project at angieslist.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way.
You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well,
I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't going to make it.
Wait a minute. Really Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable! Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for? You're being served. What is this? You're being served. What is this?
Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That is how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Heather, you've got some good news out of some tiny little small town somewhere. What is it?
I guess it depends on who you ask, but you think it's good news. I think it's interesting news. Entire police department resigns, saying town seemingly cares so little about us.
Oh, my.
Where's this story coming from?
ABC News.
No. Like, what municipality?
Massachusetts. Blandford, Mass.
Really? Blandford, Mass.
But
How
I feel
many
like the
people live
title
there?
was a little bit misleading because it says the entire police department resigns, but actually there's only 4 members apparently.
So if all 4 police officers retire or resign, that would be the entire police force.
But I usually think of like a lot more cops, especially for Massachusetts.
My town's got 2. So.
But why don't we just jump
there
right in?
was a town just near here that several years ago they wound up at their town meeting voting to get rid of the one police officer that they had.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, anyway, so this says all 4 members of the police department in Blandford, Mass. resigned suddenly and without notice, saying they could no longer work for a, in quotes, town that seemingly cares so little about us. ABC affiliate WGGB reported. The 4 officers, including interim police chief Roberta Sarnacki, notified the community's select board by email Monday night. They cited safety issues and insufficient remuneration.
That's money.
Cruisers with shoddy brakes, ill-fitting ballistic vests, faulty radios, understaffing, and low pay. That's where I have to laugh, having lived in Massachusetts, knowing that most cops entry level make more than a full-time military personnel.
I don't doubt it.
Right. So overpaid cops quitting because they claim they're not getting enough money. So.
And according to the Wikipedias, Blandford has a population of about 1,200, so 4 cops for 1,200 people.
That's high.
Sounds actually kind of high.
It does. My town has
I'm
about...
guessing these are all part-time or were part-time?
I don't know.
Which might be why they're complaining about not getting paid enough.
That could be. I know my town's about 1,900 people. We have 2 cops.
I don't know enough about... Like, I'd be... Actually, you know what? Maybe I'll end up looking up how much they actually do get paid.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it says, we refuse to put our lives on the line anymore for a town that seemingly cares so little about us, the officers said in a media statement. The officers were also upset over the idea of merging them with the department in the neighboring town of Chester to reduce costs.
Oh, imagine that. It'd be more cost efficient.
Well, 4 less officers is more cost efficient.
Right.
So now I'm guessing this town will probably just wind up contracting with that other town.
It explains. It says, Cara Latendre, the Blandford Select Board Chair, told WGGB the en masse exit caught the board unaware. Honestly, it was a surprise for us that the police chose to walk out. Massachusetts State Police released a statement saying it will continue to provide police protection to Blandford.
Continue to. So they have been before.
Right. And, most of the time, if there's a municipality that is either, without a police force or is, quote unquote, understaffed, the state police or the county sheriffs will step in depending on whatever, the jurisdiction is.
State police make more than regular ones. So now the Blandford officials are probably going to be paying more.
Well, no, the town doesn't pay the state police. There might be some contract duty.
It depends. So I know in towns in New Hampshire, you can contract the state police to cover your town. You can contract with
They're not going to do it for free.
Generally, they won't. Yeah, if you're talking about ongoing stuff, it doesn't mean they're not going to...
There are certain things that the state police have an obligation per state law to do, and they're paid by the state taxes, not the local.
Correct.
That's why I'm saying, it's not necessarily going to be the local municipality paying the salary of the state police officer.
But
we can continue this. Let's go to the phones. We've got Angel calling in from Nevada, listening to KTOX. Angel, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good evening, y'all. How are we?
Good.
Doing well. You're on the radio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay. I'm a new listener, and I have 2 questions I'd like to ask, and then, if it's okay, I'd like to listen off the radio. One
certainly
is, Heather, no offense, I'm just curious. What age group would you be in? And 2, why is Chris always picked on?
That's a good question. Why am I always picked on?
So I'm 27, if you're asking my age. I'm 27, and Chris and I always pick on each other. You're a new listener. You'll understand the relationship that we have.
I'm a multiple of 27.
Chris could be her father, and they have kind of, an interesting relationship there.
I'm putting him in a home as soon as I can.
Exactly.
I'm at the age to where I could be the brother of both. It would be a gap between, but I do know people that have siblings that are that age difference.
That's okay.
Chris and I keep each other on our toes.
That's it.
Angel, any final thoughts?
What you're saying is then, is Chris over 40?
Yes, I am saying.
Asking your age.
Actually, yeah. How about that? She said she was 27. I said I was a multiple of 27. So if you take 27 times 2, that would give you my actual age.
Okay. Well, you're still young whippersnappers then.
That's what I like to. That's what I call myself.
You just called Chris young.
No, whenever I fill out one of those, what age group are you in? 29 to 35, 35 to 44. I just write in young whippersnapper.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, well, you're all younger than I, so I do enjoy listening to you.
Yep, Angel, thank you
Thanks
for
for calling.
the call. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. So is there more to this article out of Blandford, Mass., where the entire police force, all 4 of them, wound up quitting earlier this week?
So it says, for decades, the Massachusetts State Police have maintained a strong presence in the town of Blandford, providing police services on a daily basis and responding to emergency and routine calls for service to supplement the local department's capabilities. State Police also exclusively provide police services in the town on the overnight shift, the statement read. We have notified town officials that we maintain our commitment to the town and will assume any additional duties required in the wake of the resignations of local officers. The residents of Blandford may be assured that the state police will continue to protect their community.
Now, the question here that seems so far to be unanswered is, will this town wind up hiring new police officers, or are they just going to go ahead and try going forward with whatever that merger with the other municipality was?
I would guess if they're like New Hampshire towns, the closest thing I have to compare it to is they're going to look for the most cost-effective solution. And it's not always what you think. I mean, we looked at numbers a lot when I was in as a selectman to try to figure out which one would be the most effective way to go. Was it to work with another town, work with the state police, work with the sheriffs, run our own department and rely on, because we have the same thing. State police are there after hours. So
I'm kind of curious whether this is going to affect their pensions and stuff like that.
The pensions of the 4 people that quit, they're probably not going to get pensions because they quit. Now,
it depends on how long
how long they were there.
Right.
But generally, if you wind up walking off the job and not giving some proper notice, that could affect.
Do you think this will be like a union issue, though?
Could be.
Potentially, and there may be pension issues just because it's working for the state. It's not like you're working for a private company.
Your calls and thoughts. Welcome, 855-450-FREE, 855-450-3733. Your calls and thoughts. Welcome about whatever is on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite.
Dinovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of
where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Boost Kid Essentials Nutritionally Complete Drink, providing your picky eater with essential nutrition and great taste in one drink. Visit us at kidessentials.com. To make sure your kids eat healthy, follow the 5-a-day plan. Serve 3 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit daily. Remember, a serving could just mean a piece of fruit or a half cup of veggies. If your kids are picky eaters, ask a nutritionist about other sources. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now to 855-450-FREE. 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And a good night's sleep is important. And when it comes down to it, it's not about how much time you spend in bed. It's about the quality, not the quantity of the sleep that you get. And the MyPillow is designed to help you get that good night's sleep. And with a 60-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to MyPillow.com. Get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL. And remember, if you don't like the MyPillow, within 60 days you've got 60 days to return it for a refund. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code FTL. Now, here's an interesting story that's been in the news for a couple of days, and it involves a wedding. Before getting into the story, Chris, you've previously been married?
I have.
Have you ever been in someone else's wedding?
I have.
How about you, Heather? To both of those questions.
Have I been to a wedding?
Have you ever been a member of the wedding party? Like, have you ever been a bridesmaid, a flower girl, one of the, what's the other thing that's not the bridesmaid?
I was always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
No,
right.
not yet.
Really? Okay.
But I'm going to a wedding.
Have you ever been a best man?
No.
All right. Interesting story here, and I've been in a wedding and been, both taking part in one as the guy getting hitched and also, like wedding party stuff. Story here from Fox News about a bridesmaid that, well, no longer a bridesmaid. And not only is she no longer part of the wedding party, she's now begging the airline for a refund for her ticket. Courtney Duffy, an MBA student at Dartmouth College, took to Twitter to vent her frustration after her friend and bride-to-be sent her an email asking her to, quote, relinquish her duties as a bridesmaid. The tweet says, SOS at JetBlue, booked my cross-country flights for a wedding, then was asked to relinquish my duties and mail my bridesmaid outfit so another girl could fill in and wear it
Oh, no.
Happy birthday to me. I'm laughing and crying and must avoid this wedding at all cost. Please help. She posted that on Twitter and also sent it to the Daily Mail. The email sent to Duffy, shared by Marie Claire, starts out praising Duffy for her efforts to be there for her friend's special day before asking her to step down from being a bridesmaid. Marie Claire reports that Alex writes in the email, I'm so glad to hear you booked your flights. I'm sorry classes are taking such a long time to sort out. I know how hard you're working to be here for my wedding, and it means so much. I have a massive favor to ask, is that it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to ask anyone, but I need you to relinquish your duties as a bridesmaid. Come to the wedding, have a fabulous time, and travel in the time you need without stressing about anything. The letter continues, when I asked you, I was really hoping that you could be part of this whole thing, the bachelorette trip, the weekend prep, and the full night of the event. The whirlwind nature of your travel has become just, it won't work out with the duties as a party member. I'm so sorry. Alex assured Duffy, please don't feel you're letting me down. I'm asking you to do this. I have you and value your friendship so much, and I fully understand the need for you to prioritize school. I want you to be able to focus on that without having to worry about extra wedding stuff. So, thoughts here on...
Well, it goes a little bit further.
Oh,
not
this
only
email is, or this article is
there's
lengthy.
It
here.
is, but there's just that one. After all that,
This is why I wouldn't want to be a bridesmaid or maid of honor. Just go
I don't
crash
want-
the wedding.
I
Be
don't-
at the open bar.
right? I don't want you to be here. Well, it's okay. You don't have to be a bridesmaid. So sorry, but also, could you please send the dress?
Yeah,
that's the part where I was just like, so Twitter is divided upon this. I don't know. What do you think? I think anybody who gets married has every right to pick who they want to have in their parties, right?
Yeah.
Right. You can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I would
I mean, do
certainly...
the bridesmaids have to buy their own dresses?
Yes.
Hold on. It depends.
Okay,
It
Darryl.
depends. There are times when the bridesmaids are asked to purchase the dress. There are other
Right.
times when, the bride or the groom, somebody in, like the family of the people getting married will say, you know what, we're asking you to do all of this. We'll buy the dress. So it really depends.
Or rent it, because
Right.
those things can be rented too. All right, so where do you come down? Would I wouldn't, if I asked somebody to be in the wedding.
Right. So really,
then-
there are two issues at play here.
Right.
If I were the husband, wait, is it the bride asked her not to do it anymore?
Yes.
Yes.
The
So
bride.
if I were the husband, I'd be a little worried. Like, what if she goes back on me too and decides, like, after marrying me, like, oh, wait, I don't want you to be my husband anymore.
Yeah, this whole
if you're
thing
that
sounds crazy.
There are a high
wishy-washy-
percentage of marriages that wind up in divorce, so you've got basically a 50-50
I'm pegging that
chance
one on a
anyway.
divorce. I'm going to put my money that they end up divorced. If she's that wishy-washy of a bride.
Well, it also sounds like there's a lot of other things at play. So you've got the girl that lives in New Hampshire, that's where
Mhm.
Dartmouth
Yeah.
is, having to travel across the country, take time away from all kinds of stuff, and I can see, hey, it's going to be really hectic, and I don't want to put added stress on you.
I'm just wondering if there's a Augur prediction market right now for this thing yet. For your question, Augur is a cryptocurrency. Augur can be used in predictions, so people will weigh in on different topics. And is this thing being monetized yet on Augur? That would be my
Right.
question. Is this guy going to see how crazy Bridezilla is and get the heck out?
Right. And one of the tweets here says, I know many bridesmaids who live far from the bride and wedding place. She was making every effort she could to fulfill her duties. Bride is definitely a bridezilla. If bridemaid had sister or family, would she do the same thing to them? Probably. It does say that JetBlue took a more diplomatic approach after agreeing to refund the ticket by tweeting that they would be happy to help the two friends patch things up with a free girls' weekend wherever the pair wanted to go.
So real.
Again,
just have some stupid crap on Twitter, bitch about something, and get free airfare.
But again, there are really two issues here. And I get these surveys randomly. And one of the questions was, should somebody be allowed to disinvite someone from being part of the wedding party? Yes, they should. Why is this even really a news thing? But I guess the news here is that, she had to wind up begging for a refund on the ticket. And then that leads to another question of, well, did you buy a non-refundable ticket or did you buy one that can be refunded? And then what about the situations where life happens?
But the only reason they refunded her ticket is because it went viral.
Exactly.
So it's like, oh, now they look like the good airline.
Exactly.
And,
whoa.
I'm going to go buy JetBlue now.
Exactly. When all your plans fall apart and your best friend goes completely insane 3 days before the wedding, JetBlue will be there for you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So the lesson here is, if you ever buy travel, always get the refundable ticket.
That's so much more expensive. Who does that?
But life happens, and there are times when you need to cancel your ticket.
Just eat it then, because those happen so rarely. It's nice. It's nice to be able to just say, you know what, I'm done. But most people don't have that luxury. Most people are going to find the absolute cheapest fare they can.
Right,
and they will.
Knowing
I feel like
that
there's so many women that just like weddings are, what do you call it? Over sensationalized.
I don't
There's women
there.
that they'll pick bridesmaids of people they don't even like just because they want their photos to come out good. You know what I mean?
Is that nuts?
Oh, she's really, really pretty in a dress, so I'm going to pick her.
Can't stand her. Can't stand 5 minutes in a room with her.
Yeah.
But she'll look great.
I know way too many people that have kind of I don't know.
So this story is
taken on that bridezilla kind of.
Not far-fetched from your experience?
Yeah, pretty much.
Have you known people that have asked people to not be involved in a wedding after it was already planned?
I've never done that, but I've known people that have had, people be bridesmaids and stuff like that specifically for photos.
Just for the shot. Unreal.
Just for photos.
That's it for tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow because, well, we're here every night, and we are always online at freetalklive.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home